Thanks to the support as a channel member, Ollie Gunnar Kvam. Folks, I'm recording these videos in advance now to try and get them stacked up for the weekend, which I think you're seeing this at the weekend. So I haven't had a chance to say thank you any sooner than this, but thank you. The support on this series and the FM21 videos in general has been out of this world. I've had my most viewed day on YouTube ever, my most viewed week on YouTube ever. We made it into YouTube trending earlier in the week. These are all unheard of things. We hit 80,000 subscribers on the channel, and it is all thanks to the incredible support you're showing to this series. Thank you very much. Please, long may it continue. Obviously, the 3,000 likes an episode thing is still there if you want to see my hair turn blue. But just thank you for the support. It is incredible. It means the world to me, and it is much appreciated. Hello and welcome to part 6 of my FM21 beta save with Leicester. I'm Kev, and coming up on today's episode, we have got 2 games for you. One in the Europa League knockout round against Granada. We're 2-1 down from the first leg in that one, so a little bit of work to do in the home leg. And we're also playing bottom of the table Sheffield United in the Premier League, where hopefully we'll pick up a win, because we're not in the best of form at the moment. Like I say, we lost that first leg against Granada. We struggled at home against Brighton in the Premier League just now. We look at the state of Jamie Vardy. Goodness me, he's a ridiculous man. But Premier League form has been a little bit hit and miss. We are going to need to put some form together as we head into the final third of the season if we are going to get into the Champions League next year, which was kind of our unofficial goal for the season. If we have a look at the club vision, the target for this year is just a top half Premier League finish. If we have a look at what the media thought was going to happen, the media are thinking 6th. So 5th place would be fine. But I think if we're going to be on target to win the Premier League inside the 3 years that we're trying to do, I think we've got to get in the Champions League this year. So we've got a game in hand over Chelsea, but it is a 7-point gap. I'm not sure if we play Chelsea again. We don't. We have some work to do in this second half of this season. One other thing I wanted to touch on as well before getting into the matches, lots of people have been asking me to show my tactics on video, or at least show you. I mean, my tactics don't really change from match to match. I tend to pick a tactic that fits the players that I've got, or in this case, I kind of did a little bit of both. Developing the tactic for this save. It's the vertical tiki-taka preset with a few tweaks. So I literally just went in at the top here to the presets. I wanted to do a vertical tiki-taka because I had great success with it in FM20. I wanted to do a 4-3-3 because it fit the players that we've got. Really, we were looking at Ndidi and Vardy as 2 of the better players at the club, really fit well into a 4-3-3, which is why we wanted the 4-3-3. And then we just tweaked the individual player instructions to suit them. But we've not really changed anything on the actual team instructions, because the team instructions are all pretty much with how I wanted the team to play anyway. If it looked like it wasn't working, we tweaked some stuff. But I think for us to be 5th place in the league with the player turnover we've had this year, it clearly is working. So there's no real need to tweak any of that stuff. We have pushed it to an attacking mentality because I love the goals. And like I say, we've added a few different player instructions, tweaked some of the positions to suit the players that are in them, added a few more attacking mentalities throughout the team just to make sure that we don't leave Vardy completely isolated at the front. But I tend not to be much in the way of a tactical tweaker. Those of you who've been around on the channel for a few years know this to be true. I don't really fiddle with tactics game to game, or very much at all, because as far as I'm concerned, it's more about the players. And I know different people have different philosophies on how to play Football Manager. And mine very much is get an idea of how you want to play, and then it's all about recruiting the right players to fit that system. I'm not one to take a squad of players and make the tactic work for them. Everyone does it different ways. This is my way. We seem to have quite a lot of success with it. It even works playing against other creators in the Streamer Showdown, as we were doing for our FM20, when I kept beating the tactical tweakers just by drafting better, picking better squads. And that's what we're trying to do as part of this series. I know not everybody agrees with the transfer policy that we've had, but I'm fairly confident over time it will prove to be successful. That's the plan anyway. So let's get into the Granada match. Like I say, we're 2-1 down from the first leg. Doesn't necessarily tell the whole story. Kev's going on about XG again. It was 2 breakaway goals that should never have gone in that Granada scored. And they hit us with a sort of double punch early on. They only had a 0.42 XG, though, compared to our 1.11. We played much better than them. You can see we had more shots. We had 13 corners to their 1. They had 2 shots on target and scored them both. It was. I feel robbed from that first leg, but because we got the away goal, I do feel confident going into the second leg that we should be able to turn it around. If we don't, there's going to be egg on my face. So we're going with Schmeichel in goal, a back four of Castagna, Evans, Kayal and Pereira, and Didi at the base of midfield, Tielemans and Aouar in centre mid, and then Maddison, Vardy and Ikone up front. You can tell I'm taking it seriously when I play what is I'm pretty sure this is my full strength side. These are the 11 best players we've got at the club, all in their appropriate positions. I rotate a lot, as you see in these videos, because people get the impression I'm not playing Maddison, even though he's probably played more games than most of the rest of the squad this year, because I don't remember him having a significant injury. Touch wood, cue significant injury to James Maddison in this game now. But yeah, I think this is my strongest team. Right, we're going to pump those fists. We're going to tell them that we want to go and win, because we do want to go and win. If we're at risk of not getting in the Champions League this year through the league, which we've got to admit we are at this point, because we are there. Like I say, there's that gap between us and that Champions League breakaway group. We do want to get in it, and winning the Europa League is a potential route in. But in order to win the Europa League, we have to win this game. That's how knockout football works. So hopefully we'll get a highlight at some point. Half an hour in, absolutely nothing has happened so far. You can see, I don't know why the match stats have appeared over there as well as over here. But you can see we are controlling the game again, but not to the extent where we're warranting any kind of highlight. And it's hit half time. Nothing has happened. Granada have just come here and locked the game down. And we need to do something different in this second half. Let's point the finger. Do we want to point the finger? I want to show a bit of desire. Can I do that whilst pumping fists? No. Can I I can't. I need to pick. So we have to point the finger, I think. I could do it with my hands in my pockets, but that feels like I'm not showing it. Let's point the finger, ask for some desire. That's motivated them, which is always handy. If we just look at tactics and just get an idea of... I mean, we've got Edouard on the bench who we could bring on if need be. My instinct would be to bring him on alongside Vardy rather than instead of. Barnes is another potential game changer who could come on. I can see maybe 15 minutes into this half going to a 4-2-4, maybe with Vardy and Edouard up front, moving Maddison back into the midfield, possibly alongside Tielemans, and getting Barnes on that left-hand side, all as potential things to try and mix things up a little bit. But we'll give them 15 minutes as they are with a demand more instruction, just to see if we can conjure something up with the 11 that started the game, my supposed best 11. But again, nothing's happening. We're just being absolutely shut out by Granada. So we've got to mix things up. We've got to try something different, because we're not getting any kind of breakthrough doing what we're doing. So what I might do, I might actually keep Ndidi in there, but as a box-to-box midfielder, and take off Aouar so that we can get... Or do we want to take off Tielemans? No, we'll take off Aouar. We're going to bring Edouard on. We're going to make him advance forward alongside Vardy's pressing forward. And then we might actually bring Maddison. We might still do that. Bring Maddison into here. And get Barnes on. And do that as just a double change to try and mix things up a little bit. Try and do something a little bit different. Right, come on, boys. Can we berating at... We're going to fire them up. Berating them at 0-0 seems a little bit harsh, but obviously we are losing the game on aggregate. And are we really going to do 90 minutes of knockout football and not get a highlight? I don't think I've ever known this happen before. There has not been a single highlight in this game so far. Who else have we got on this bench who can change the game? Him. He's the only one. Get him on. I don't think we can do more than, 3 subs, even though apparently it's supposed to be 5 in the Europa League. I was being told on stream, but I certainly don't have access to 5. Come on, for goodness sake, we are berating them now. Do something that warrants a highlight. This is absolute insanity. Granada have just come here and absolutely done a number on us. They're playing a back 5. and there's not going to be a highlight in the game. Absolutely. Oh, here we go. Imagine if we score it. The first highlight of the game in the 90th minute. There are 5 seconds of normal time left. We got our first highlight of the match and we've only gone and scored it. And we're now ahead on away goals. And it's no less than we deserve. We have been the better team in both legs and we've been rewarded for it. That is nuts. I have never known a match like this in 25 years of playing Football Manager. This is absolute madness. We're going to grab a second here, aren't we? Castagna's in. Oh, I thought he was going to for a second then. We've got another corner. It doesn't really matter. The final whistle's going to go any moment. What a moment. I hope away goals count immediately at full time. I don't want to have to do extra time after all this, because I can't sit through another 30 minutes of no highlights. Barnes has given the ball away there. Imagine if we go and concede. That would be the ultimate sucker punch. But Kyle was there to just clean up. The goal scorer hero. And surely we need a full-time whistle now, referee. Vardy's done well to hold the ball up a little bit there. I think they're going down to 10 men. Are they? No, he's just calming him down. He's already on a yellow card. I think it's a little bit late in the 94th minute when it's a man on a yellow card. Let's not be telling him to calm down. If he's fouling our players, send him off, referee. Madison plays it in and then we're just rubber stamping it with a second. And I mean, we've shown some real grit and character in this game to grind out a 2-0 win against a team that were only interested in coming here and defending. And like I say, it's absolutely what we've deserved. We just kept plugging away at it. And I know there'll be people down in the comments section saying that that was my, at 70 minutes in this game, that was my perfect opportunity to fiddle with the team instructions a little bit and try something different because what I was doing wasn't working. I refer you to the XG match story to say what I was doing was working. We were well ahead on XG. We were the better team. We'd been the better team across 2 legs. We just weren't getting that little bit of luck that we got delivered right at the end. I mean, this is where we get the 2 goals. We haven't had a huge jump in XG when the 2 goals have gone in. We were doing well. That around there is a switch to 4-2-4. That made a difference. But we didn't need to change how we were playing because we were playing well. We just needed to kind of show a little bit of character and not flail around and change things just because it wasn't working because we weren't winning the game. It's not always about the scoreline. Sometimes you have to pay more attention to how the team are playing, and XG really helps with that. More than any feature they've added to FM for a long, long time. I love XG. It's brilliant. Right, outstretched arms. Well done, boys. I don't know when the draw for the next round is. I don't know if it's immediate. If it is, we'll show it in this video. If not, it'll be a surprise in tomorrow's video. But what we are going to do is go and play that league game against Sheffield United. And hopefully goals will be a little bit easier to come by in that one. Well, we're not doing a surprise because we've got the draw immediately. It's the second round draw for the Europa League. And there are a few big teams left in this competition, but it does look winnable. As Leicester, this looks winnable. We obviously want to be careful of Arsenal, Borussia Dortmund, Leipzig. That's about it. I think this is a winnable tournament. There you go. We've been drawn at home, which is not ideal. I always prefer to be away in the first leg, and we're going to be playing AZ Alkmaar. Gotta believe that's a game we can win. We haven't got the Dutch league loaded, so we don't know how they're doing domestically, but we've got to believe we're better than them, which should then be a route through to what I think becomes, is it the quarterfinal after the second round? It's winnable. We could have a Europa League win here. Right, freshening things up a little bit for the Sheffield United game with a couple of changes. Edouard comes in on the left-hand side, who, by the way, is unhappy at the club because I may have been forced into promising him he wanted me to, well, I did promise, probably shouldn't have done. I did promise as part of signing him that we would strengthen the attackers at the club. And I don't know how to break it to him. If we strengthen the attackers, that just pushes him down the pecking order. As far as I'm concerned, the attackers are him and Vardy. He's already behind Vardy. So if I strengthen any further, he becomes third choice and doesn't play at all. He doesn't seem to get it. So he's unhappy. But he can come back in for this game and we'll try and play him back into happiness. And we also have a couple of changes at the back. Emerson and Soyuncu coming in. Just really to keep things freshened up at the back, because the first leg against AZ Alkmaar is in the next game. It's like 3 days away after this game. So there's probably an argument for rotating even further than I am. But while we're still in a hunt for the Champions League, it feels a little bit wrong to put a rotated team out in the Premier League, even if it is against the team that are rock bottom, because if we had the choice between Champions League qualification through the league and winning the Europa League, we'd choose Champions League qualification through the league. So we kind of do have to prioritise league games, even though it is going to lead to lots of games being played by these players. I've talked a lot this season about how we've been trying to strengthen the squad, and we have got more strength in depth than we had initially. That's a lovely ball that Edouard should have done better with. If he's not in a mood, he scores there, but he is in a mood, so he doesn't, and that's annoying. But we have got more strength in depth than we had at the start, but a lot of those players aren't fully settled in yet. I don't fully trust them yet. I've not seen them have good games yet. Like Mbabu, as an example. We spent a lot of money on Mbabu, but he's not really playing at Pereira's level yet. Whether that's because I've misjudged things and Pereira's actually a better right back than him, in which case Mbabu's only ever going to be my backup anyway. But I don't really trust him enough to bring him in a big game situation yet. And that's problematic. Tielemans, what a goal from Yuri Tielemans. There's a man I do trust in a big game situation, because that is a wonderful goal to put us 1-0 up and keep us right back in the Champions League qualification hunt. Edouard doing quite well out on the left wing, considering he's a big lad who doesn't really want to be playing out there. He wants to be up top. But obviously Vardy is the top scorer in the Premier League. If he's fit, he plays. And when he plays as striker. And Edouard's just going to have to get his game time any way he can get it this season. And then we'll evaluate over the summer and decide who our starting striker is going to be next year. And if Edouard wants it to be him, step one is for him to get out of his grumpy, because I'm not replacing Vardy with a man who doesn't even want to be at Leicester, because that just seems stupid. I'm not a Leicester fan. I don't know the Leicester history. Surely Vardy's up there as one of the all-time legends of the club, though, isn't he? You can't replace an all-time club legend. I could probably look on the club legends list in game, because that's obviously going to reflect what Leicester fans think about him. But he must be up there, considered one of your best ever players. So I can't replace him with a guy who's got a grumpy on, because I didn't sign someone better than him to compete with him in the squad. This sort of thing is silly, Football Manager. It's very silly. Right, as we approach half-time, we've had an utterly dominant first half, to the point where Sheffield United haven't even had a shot. But as has been the case a number of times this season, we're dominating, but we're only one goal up. And it does always leave that danger. That back door is open for Sheffield United to sneak through and ruin our evening. And we need a second goal to put the game beyond doubt, really, or a third would be even better. But a second as a starting point would be very helpful at this point, especially because the second half has started with Sheffield United seemingly getting a highlight. Although we've got the ball back here, and Didi's looking for an option. He's got Aouar in loads of space. He finds a Kone playing it forward to Vardy. This is some good attacking movement from us. Tielemans now just pinging a pass out to Edouard on this left wing, who's looking for options, plays it back to Emerson. Emerson plays it over to Tielemans. I didn't think it was going to make it all the way to Tielemans. It was a slightly under-hit pass, but Tielemans does well on a stretch to actually turn it into a goal-scoring opportunity and force a corner. It's Aouar to take, and Tielemans is there again. Have we got anyone else in this team other than Yuri Tielemans? It's the Yuri Tielemans show today, and someone's injured. It's Emerson. Castagna on easy. That's one of the reasons we signed Mbabu, so that we have two. We've basically got four fullbacks now. I know we have Justin, but I had Justin in a non-league to legend series a couple of years ago down in the lower leagues, and I can't get out of my head the fact he's a lower league player. I realise he does play for Leicester in the Premier League now, but I mean, he's got time. He's still only 23, I think. Pereira on the right-hand side, looking to beat his man and get a crossover. He beats his man and doesn't cross. Grr. He did the first part so well. What was he even attempting there? He's never going to score from that tight an angle. According to the dugout, showing how bright they are, we've seen Yuri Tielemans getting skinned all too often today. to what I've seen from these highlights, head and shoulders above everyone else is the best player on the pitch today. But apparently he's not having a good game. Oh, that's got some curl on it from Edouard, and I thought that was going to tuck in at that far post. It looks like it's not even gone out for a corner. I thought at worst that's a goalkeeper's save, but apparently not. I'm going to take off Ikone, bring on Under, and we are also going to bring on Barnes for Vardy and give Edouard a little bit of time up front. It gives Barnes a little bit of game time on the left-hand side. It gives Edouard a bit of game time in his actual position and gives Vardy a little bit of a rest going into that big Europa League game coming up. Söyüncü very close to doubling the lead and putting it 2-0 up, but not quite able to connect fully to keep it down. Sheffield United have still only had one shot in this entire game. It is all set up for our afternoon to be ruined. I know it's going to happen. I've played Football Manager before. The fact we're only 1-0 up means we're going to concede a goal. If we could just hold on now, lads, that would be very pleasant. It is going to be us with the throw in the 89th minute. Castagna playing it across to Ndidi. Tielemans is in space, but it's back with Ndidi again. And we've got a man on the overlap on this side. If we just find him, I think that's Ricardo Pereira. Ndidi playing it all the way back to Söyüncü. There's Under. There is Pereira still on the overlap. Does nobody see him? Stood over there all on his own. Castagna now back to Tielemans, and that's a poor pass that's left Tielemans in trouble, but United didn't know what to do with it. And we find Ricardo Pereira finally, who's again off on the overlap and finally gets the ball, plays it into Under, and it's over. I mean, the irony there. Under hits it over. Brilliant. Well, we've got an XG of 2 from this game and only scored the 1 goal. Have we still got we got away with that a little? See, I'm a little bit worried about using this now. I've got XT for context. The team, I don't want to risk it going into the Europa League game. I'm going to go with my assistant recommendation, but I want your thoughts on this down in the comments. That was a bit of a let off. We weren't good enough and have to step things up against better opposition. Because we played really well, we just didn't score. And I don't know how they're going to interpret that if I use it. So for today, I'm going to say it was a nice victory, well done. Because I know that's going to please everybody and motivate them going into the Europa League game. I need a meaningless game to experiment with some of the other things to see what they do. Emerson's now going to be missing a month or so of football, which is pretty significant at this point of the season. And we give Tielemans a pat on the head. Looking at the schedule, I think I'll probably play the first leg offline again just to keep the pace of the videos moving forward. And then we'll probably do the second leg and Burnley in tomorrow's video. So it gets a Premier League game under our belts as well against Villa. So tomorrow, Europa League, second knockout round away, second leg, AZ Alkmaar, then Burnley in the Premier League. And then at the end of that, we're going to have a much clearer idea of if we are in the hunt for trophies this year or Champions League qualification this year. And that's all good. If you've enjoyed that, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager videos. And thank you very much for watching.